How you doing? Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in JaYoe. This is the first episode of the JaYoe Travel Show. I'm your host, Matthew. If you've never heard of me, if you're just walking in here, I'm a cycle traveler. I'm riding around the world in a recumbent trike. That's me right there. And I love travel. And part of traveling is meeting interesting people from all over the world. And oh, hell, I've met a lot of them. So I decided with this whole virus situation where I'm cooped up in a place and I can't do the thing that I love, which is traveling, that I'll meet travelers and share them with you. A lot of these guys I've met personally, and I know them very well. And some of them I haven't met face to face, but a lot of them I have met via the power of social media. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on a friend of mine named Darren. So let's get this show on the road. Well, Darren is a fella that rides the same recumbent trike as me. He is a traveler. He's got, I think, a few more kilometers on the ticker than me. He's been doing it for a while. And we kind of found ourselves traveling and almost intersecting, but almost not. And before I bring him on, let me tell you that we are live. And if you have any comments or things that you'd like to talk about, that you can put your questions in the comments section. I will try my best to answer your questions, and we'll do the Q&A at the end. So if you want to support the show, you can do that through YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, you can just watch as well and make comments. And I have all the comments here, so we can take a look and check them out. So let's meet Darren. Darren has a here. Let me bring him on in here and add you. Hey, Darren, how's it going, buddy? Very nice to see you. How's the weather over there? Hey, whoa, hey.
Here we go. There we go. We're there. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
thank you. Well, if you aren't doing something wrong, then you're not trying. So
yeah.
let's hope that is the only faux pas in the JaYoe Travel Show.
Yeah, 3 minutes in, we're doing well.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about yourself. I don't know where we left off.
Okay, so I've been traveling, as Matt has already said, on a recumbent trike from AZUB. I left the UK in 2015, October 2015, and then I basically traveled all through Europe, through Turkey, Azerbaijan, Central Asia, along the Pamir Highway, the old Silk Road, and then Nepal, India, Japan, Japan and Korea, Southeast Asia, and I'm currently in lockdown. Well, sort of, but in lockdown in Australia.
Well, I think we're all sharing in that lockdown. But that's a bit of a thing we're all having to deal with.
That's it. Yeah.
Now I saw that I scrubbed the internet for some clips of your journey, and I found an interesting one. Now I scrubbed, actually searched for the name of your tour. Now this is Every Which Way But Lost, which is interesting. And so I looked on, and I found, now your trike isn't red, right?
It's not red.
Well, but it used to be red, because I found this clip, and I searched Every Which Way But Lost, and found this. I found.
Get off my property!
I warn you, lady. Put that gun down.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There's you. That's you.
I believe that's the film Every Which Way But Loose.
Oh, so I guess this one doesn't apply either.
That's my best buddy. That's Clyde.
I was going to ask where you picked up that orangutan, because you've been in a lot of places where they're found in the wild. I was expecting a better story. Damn, I really messed up my research on that one.
I look much younger there.
Yeah.
Or more,
what a suave guy.
Or more hairy, one of the two.
Yeah, right. What does he say? I'm gonna tell you your lesson, punk.
Right turn, Clyde.
Right turn, Clyde. Is that where you came up with the Every Which Way But Lost?
Yes. Yeah.
That's okay. That's cool. That was a surprise, guys. That wasn't scripted. I was searching Every Which Way But, and then I hit search, and I'm like, holy shit! I remember that movie. That was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, that's where it come from.
Yeah. Like I said, his real address is down below. If you can search Every Which Way But Lost almost anywhere, you can find his content. So take a look.
Or Clyde.
Or Clyde. And take a look and find him. Now, we have a interesting relationship. We had ridden through a lot of the same areas, but we just kept missing each other. Where were we supposed to meet?
I think the first time I was cycling out of Cambodia towards Vietnam, and you were cycling south through Vietnam, and I was hoping to meet up with you, but something happened. I can't remember what it was. And then you were going through Thailand, and I was, you were going through Thailand, and again, something happened. I don't know. It's something to do with a wife and child that you have to keep going and see. I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah. I got those. I have those. I have those.
Yeah.
You know what? They take precedence. I really like it, Darren. But you have priorities.
It stood up twice.
Yeah. Stood up twice. Apologize, brother. So let's see here. I want to see here. Let's see what we got here. We got a few people on the show, so that's good. It's good to see Patrick. How's it going, brother? Cora, hello, Arthur. I'm glad that we're back into non-troubled territory with the stream. So now, one of the places that we were supposed to meet, or that we crossed paths, was a place called Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
And this shot you took in front of the, what are those, Aquinas Towers, right?
The Petronas Towers.
Petronas Towers. And you sent me that picture, and I was so pissed because I kept wanting to, what I wanted a picture of the two of us in front of that building, and it always ended up being you'd take a picture and then I'd follow behind and take a picture. Hopefully someday we can join, but at least we have this. So we both have been there in spirit. My wheels have touched the same stretch of road that your wheels have touched, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Did you have? I remember when I was there. You're behind the fountains. I can see the fountains in front of you. There's a long stretch of fountains. I was actually on the other side of those, and man, oh man, security gave me the biggest heap of grief for going there and taking a picture. Did they give you the same frustration?
No, I sort of crept in behind and then quickly got in there, got someone to take my picture, and then moved out. So that was okay. Managed to get there without the security chasing me off.
Do you get a lot of grief from people? I mean, what is your biggest? Because we both ride a very unique form of transportation, and it's kind of I always think it's kind of like a car. It's kind of like a bike. Nobody seems to know what rule you should abide by, and we kind of get away with more than we should in a lot of cases. I'm wondering what your experience is.
Yeah, that's definite. Some people might think that you got a disability or something like that, or they've never seen it before, so they're really interested. They really want to see and talk to you and find out what you're doing. So you do get a lot more attention from people, which is good in some ways, and sometimes not good. When you're trying to sleep in your tent.
I mean, you could. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that for the most part, the fact that it's such a unique form of transportation is a benefit above a negative.
Yeah,
and we're all a little disabled in ways. I'm sure you can pick yourself apart and say that we're all imperfect beings. It's like, okay, well, I ride this Trike.
Yeah.
Is there any downsides to the Trike? Is there anything that you've found? Oh man, I wish X, Y, or Z. I'm curious.
Really, just I suppose I've had to fly 3 times from Kyrgyzstan to Nepal, and then from India to Japan, and from Korea to Cambodia, and it's always an absolute pain. I've now sort of got it down to an art, and I can get the bike taken apart and put it into a normal bike box, but it's the weight of it, and you're having to carry an extra lot of weight, so it always ends up being quite a costly exercise. And I'm really not looking forward to having to fly to America at some stage, because I know that's going to be a big bill, but we'll get there.
You ever thought of using freighters and then taking a long journey as crew on a freighter and using it as your transportation?
Yeah, I looked into that. I know a long time ago people said you could get onto these freighters on these ships, but I think the companies have got involved with that now, and it's like $100 a day, I think, something like that, to travel on one of these. So it's probably more expensive than flying.
Yeah.
A fishing boat would be good.
Only once, but I heard of a couple that took a fishing boat from Indonesia to Darwin in Australia, which is really hard. It's really hard to connect those 2 points together. So I was very impressed that that was a possibility.
Yeah. We would do a lot of searching on the internet.
I flew from Okinawa, Japan to Taipei, Taiwan, because they didn't have a linkage there. And when I did that, I claimed the Trike as a disability tool, like a wheelchair, and they took it unfolded, like it was open, and they put it in the bottom of the plane for free.
Yeah, we tried that. We got in touch with a company when we flew. It was Sri Lankan Airlines. I don't know if I'm allowed to name them. We said, can we take them and free as a mobility device, trying to push the envelope a little bit? And they said, yeah, no problems. We got to the airport and there was lots and lots of problems. But they did take the Trikes fully, not folded, not boxed or anything like that. And they turned up in Japan okay. It just cost us a lot of money.
We have a question from Arthur Larson. Arthur asked on a super chat. He asked, "How do you wind up on the recumbent versus a regular bike?" So that's a very valid question. How did you do that?
Yeah. So I originally started traveling with my ex-partner, and we went. I had to try and get her to become involved in my dream to cycle around the world. And we went for a cycle ride around France on normal mountain bikes. And we bumped into a Swiss guy on a recumbent. And we fell in love with the idea of how comfortable it is, how, you know, your neck and shoulders are all very relaxed and everything like that. So we ended up at the start cycling on a recumbent tandem. Unfortunately, we realized there we go. Yeah, brilliant picture. My weight was all on the front wheel. It wasn't the greatest design for off-roading. And we knew that, you know, with the Pamir Highway and other stuff, we would have trouble. So we ended up going with the Trikes. We went to the Czech Republic, went to the factory, and they looked after us really well.
And it's an AZUB, right?
That's right, yeah. It's my bike's an AZUB Tie-Fly, 20-inch, with the roll-off and a dynamo and stuff like that. Pretty standard. Ish.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you find that you get more love on the road because you ride this thing, or do you think that it's negligible? Or, you know, I'm curious.
I think, yeah, absolutely. Especially from traffic. You know, they're coming up on you from behind, and they're going, "What the heck is that?" You know, and they slow down. They're creeping around you. And it, you know, they give you a lot of space. So definitely, when they see a normal cyclist, it's like they forget that he's even there, and they just whiz by. But with me, and obviously with all recumbent trikes, they haven't seen one before, so they slow down. They're curious, and they want to see it. Sometimes very curious. I've had cases in India where we've had 50 mopeds and rickshaws following us and taking videos and pictures and all sorts. It was a bit stressful.
Have you ever caused or been involved in an accident?
I've not been involved in an accident. I think at one point we did maybe cause one. There was a great screech of tires and two cars backed up. Not backed up. I think one car that had slowed down had another car rear-end it just because he was watching us. I think it was minimal damage. You know, we just cycled on. It kept going.
I had a bunch of cars in China. The Chinese will stop in the middle of a highway in their car, roll down their windows, and while cars are screeching and swerving around them, honking their horns, he's taking pictures. And I'm trying to tell the guy, I'm like, I really appreciate it, but you're going to get me killed. You know, all these cars are looking at you. Stop. They're not looking at me. It's like, Jesus, just keep going.
Yeah. I've had cars before.
Go ahead.
I've had cars before that, you know, climbing a big hill, and they come up beside you, wind the window down, and pass you a lovely ice cold bottle of water, and you know that's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, when it's on a highway.
Is there a country where you've had more charity than others?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think anywhere east of Europe, so Turkey eastwards, it's been absolutely fantastic. I think Malaysia was possibly my most generous country. I remember the first day I got into Malaysia, I stopped at the side of the road. There was a curry sort of, you know, street vendor. Stopped for curry. There was 3 old chaps there. Decided to have some lunch with them, sorry, some breakfast with them. Went to pay, and they paid for me. Lunchtime, I was cycling down the road. I saw a guy trying to take a picture. So I stopped for him, and he started talking to me, and he offered me to go for lunch. And then another guy was driving down the road. He stopped, taking a picture again. So I stopped, and it, you know, a little bit of broken English and all that sort of stuff. And then about 2 hours later, he came past me in his car, and with 2 big bags of shopping, with drinks and snacks and crisps and all sorts. So yeah. But anywhere east of Europe, it's been fantastic. You know, the biggest trouble is when you get past a watermelon as you're cycling along, and someone gives you a watermelon, and you're like, "What do I do with this? Where do I put it?" There, you got to carry it.
I got past a crate of milk, like a box of individual milk drinks, and I was just like, thanks. I mean, You know, they just want to give you something, so you got to accept it. But sometimes it's so funny. Overabundance of generosity.
I remember in Japan, the Japanese love their iced green tea, and they always used to. I get this bought for me all the time, and I can't stand it. But you have to sit there and drink it with them, you know.
Yeah. You got to do it. You got to choke it down.
Yeah.
Let's see. How many miles or kilometers have you done?
So even though I'm from England, I record, and we should be in miles, I record all my stuff in kilometers, and I'm about 35,500 kilometers into my journey.
35,500 kilometers is 22,058 miles.
There we go.
That's pretty good. I have that opened up on my. I knew you were going to ask that question. So. And how many countries total?
I think with all the traveling that I did, I think this is my 51st country. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. What a fantastic number to be able to throw out. That's very, very JaYoe. Let's talk a little bit about this whole virus thing. Now, when it hit, where were you and where are you now?
Okay, so when I first started hearing about the virus and all that sort of stuff, I was in Indonesia, in Bali, and I was on a month off or so. And I was planning to come to Australia, and it was all happening in China, nothing really, major and anything like that. And then February the 8th, I flew from Bali to Perth in Australia. And in Australia, it was really, really quiet. There was nothing going on. Everyone was traveling around. It was nothing. And then it started to ramp up a little bit. I then started cycling, and I did the Munda Biddi trail. I was then heading east towards, to get to the east coast, and I was heading towards the Nullarbor Desert. But as that was going on, everything was starting to ramp up. And then I heard from the police when I was at the roadside that they closed the borders, the interstate borders between Western Australia and South Australia. So at that stage, I had to turn back. It was a difficult decision, but I think it was the right one at the time. Although, some people might say you could have carried on cycling, you're self-isolating, you're still in contact with people, you've got to go into the shop and buy stuff. So really, I could have been spreading the virus, or, I could have caught it, either way. So I managed to find a host who said I could come back and stay on her farm. And she looked after me for 6 to 8 weeks, I think it was. And now I'm just now starting to cycle again.
And you're in Adelaide, right? Where are you now?
No, I'm in Australind. It's on the very western coast of Australia.
Okay. What is it? And you're about to set off again, right? You're ready to restart?
That's right. Australia has reopened its regional borders, so I can travel all around Western Australia. And I don't know if anyone's seen a map of Western Australia, but it's absolutely huge. And I think to get to the border with South Australia, it's something like 2,000 kilometers. So I'm going to head towards South Australia. I know I can get into South Australia, but I'll have to self-quarantine when I get there. So sit in my tent at the border for 14 days. And then I'll be able to travel on. I'm hoping that the state borders will be open again by the time I get there. But as a necessity, if it needs be, I'll have to self-quarantine in my tent for 14 days.
They'll allow you to stay in a tent? They won't force you into like a quarantine hotel or anything?
Yeah, I phoned up the South Australia police at the border, and they said, we've got a campsite here. There's quite a few campers and mobile homes that are coming through that are, returning home. So they're all self-quarantining in this campsite. Yeah, so it should be okay.
Do you see what do you see around you? Do you see people taking protection, social distancing, and all that stuff, or is it pretty?
Australia's been really, really lucky. I think we've only had something like 99 or 100 deaths The cases have been really, really low. They locked down really quickly. The government did a really good job of it. But now things are going back to normal. And yeah, it just seems like it's very, very slowly going back to normal. But there wasn't much in the way of masks or anything like that. Although Australia is a massive country, the populace isn't that dense. And so they've just been really lucky to be here.
They're sort of social distancing by default, just being Australians.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to talk about was you rode a very interesting stretch of road in Australia, and you told me about it. And you said that I think I made the wrong choice to try this thing. Can you tell us a little bit about the Biddi Trail?
Yeah,
right?
So it's called the Munda Biddi Trail, and it's an off-road trek, off-road route through Western Australia. It goes from Perth in Mundaring down to Albany. And so the actual distance between those two places is only like 400 kilometers. But this route, because it goes all over the place, it's 1,000 kilometers of off-road. We're talking deep pea gravel, deep sand, occasionally really narrow single track. And I've got to say, it was the toughest cycling I've ever done. At times I've got twigs and trees coming at me through the side and all through the wheels, and then having to push through the sand, the deep sand, for like 3 or 4 kilometers. Are just absolutely awful.
So if you had the chance to do it again, you wouldn't do it again?
Well, not on a trike. I believe I was the first person to do it. First person to do it on a trike, and it is amazing. All the way along the trail, there are these huts that are there for camping. They're free. The Australian government provides for it, and it's a brilliant, beautiful trail. Just not on trike. Get a mountain bike, get some fat tires on it or something, and do that.
Yeah. I mean, this is some video of of your ride, and I mean, I can imagine. I know that trench is a lot deeper than it looks like in that video.
That's it. Yeah. You get stuck in there, you're not coming out.
Who took that video?
My host, who was looking after me on the farm, she came out for the first day of the ride, and so she took some videos for me on that first day.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I can appreciate. But there was some good. What were some of the positives of that Munda Biddi Trail? What was the high points?
Yeah, swimming in these little mud holes. Yeah, it's just an amazing countryside. You're seeing kangaroos and emus. You've got the old Aboriginal sites. Yeah, and you're for a lot of time, 3-4 days, you can be cycling and you don't see anybody or anything. Yeah, there's me going through some deep scrub, and if you get the right place, you'll see me pushing through the sand. I sweated a lot that day. Oh my God.
Yeah. When you get sand, this might be it. Actually, I can see the little icon there. That doesn't look like.
Yeah, maybe a bit further.
Does not look like fun at all.
Yeah, it's just after that bit. Yeah.
But look at my God,
here we go.
You pushing.
This is it.
That's you pushing.
Yeah.
Pushing.
Oh
my God. How long? How long did you have to push?
I would say over the whole of that day, about 3 kilometers. You get a stretch of 500 meters, and then you get riding again when the sand compacted, and then you just keep going and stopping and going and stopping. Yeah, that was hard. That was the hardest part there.
What do you think's worse, dry, soft sand or mud?
Dry, soft sand. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. It's harder to go through. Yeah, and then you only tend. Yeah.
You did not want to set up that camera, right? But you said, I have to get this.
It's like Ed Pratt says, all these videos that you're seeing, I'm having to go and set the camera up, walk all the way back down. Go and get
Look
the
at
camera
you.
again.
You look so tired. For those of you that don't know, Ed Pratt is he's riding around the world rode around the world on a unicycle.
Yeah.
Ed's a rock star, and Ed is going to be on a future episode of the JaYoe Travel Show. So look forward to that. That will be very
inspirational.
Cool to talk to him. He is very inspirational, and he is another one of those guys that I rode the same way he did, and there was a few opportunities we might have collided, but just never worked out,
Yeah,
but now this yeah. Well, you know what? We're all share our stories on social media, so in some ways we are connected, so that's pretty cool. So let's see here. So what's your next? What's up next? What's going on your end for the next leg?
Sure. So the original plan was to spend 6 months in Australia and then get to the East Coast, to Brisbane, and to fly to New Zealand, and then spend 6 months in New Zealand, checking out, giving it a really good go, because, I've seen and heard that New Zealand's a beautiful place to visit. After that, it would have been a flight to the Americas. Because of the COVID-19 outbreak, my visa runs out in August. So I've only got a couple of months left. I'm waiting to hear there's definitely no extension. So I may have to buy a new visa, which is going to cost something like $360 or something like that. So I'm saving my pennies, and I'll either go for an extended visa, or I'm hoping that the New Zealand borders will open up and I can fly to New Zealand before my visa runs out. We'll have to wait and see what the government says. There's supposed to be some Australia, New Zealand, Tasman bubble, and that'll allow people to travel through. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
In New Zealand, I know that they like to restrict wild camping, I heard.
There's a lot of private land, and it's quite difficult. I've heard, from other cyclists. But then again, people are really friendly, and if you go and ask a farmer if you can stay on his land, he'll normally say, or most of them will say yes. It's when you try and camp, illegally, that you're going to get into some trouble. But we've all been there occasionally.
I was telling my friend who's moderating, he's like, the comments are good, but I am trying to have engage in a conversation. So everybody in the comment section, we'll look at your questions and stuff later. But right now I'm focused on my conversation here with you. You know what? Jin, who's a Korean, who also I'm trying to get on the show. She's cycling the globe, right? Cycling around the globe, right?
6 years she's been doing.
She's a real rock star too, and she had gone through New Zealand just recently as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting as we accrue some of these shows. Maybe we can bring you back later, and then also maybe because I can actually have 4 people talking about a single topic, and we can actually do something like that. Yeah,
she's currently stuck in. Sorry, just that's coincidence. She's currently stuck in New South Wales on the other side of the continent. So again, it's going to probably she'll have moved on before I get there, but it'd be nice to meet up with her too.
So close yet so far. So tell me a little bit about your gear. Now, looks like you got a pretty gear. It's how old is that picture? How much of that stuff has gone by the wayside? I'm curious.
Well, that's actually a recent
picture.
Yeah, that's a recent picture. Obviously, whilst in lockdown, I had a bit of spare time, so I thought I'd do a kit video. And so that's what I'm carrying right now. And it's still too much, as cyclists that are touring, we all know you carry way too much kit, and you get rid of it and then you buy some new stuff. So like at the moment, when I was going through Southeast Asia, I got rid of the tent. And I just had a hammock for emergencies because it's so cheap out there to get accommodation. So now I've still got the hammock and I've got a tent, and I'm like, I don't need both, but I'm loath to get rid of one. Yeah. But apart from that, it's pretty minimal.
Wow, I find that very interesting that you took the tent out and now you're carrying both, because I ended up I've carried some things with me through countries long stretches of riding that I know I won't use yet. Like my solar panel. I have a solar panel I've never used, but I think I'll use it in Australia. So I end up carrying it with me. But I'm never getting to Australia, and I'm thinking to myself, is it useful? But get rid of it and pick it up later. There is a lot of that, you know. Which part of your gear here would you say is one of your most reliable, most important? What is the thing you can't live without that most people wouldn't think about?
Well, actually, it's probably most people would think about it, but it's the sleeping pad. After a hard day's cycling, you really need to get a good night's sleep. And the sleeping pad that I've got is one of the top end ones. It gives me a lot of comfort. It keeps the cold from coming up through the ground and disturbing my sleep. So for me, a good night's sleep, it has to be the air pad, really.
Okay, I wonder, because you did do the hammock when I was in Japan. I had the hammock, and the first night I tried it, do you have a pad inside the hammock?
Yeah, so I use my sleeping pad in the hammock, because I don't know if people know, but when you're in a hammock, you've got no insulation underneath. You've got the wind blowing, and you get this really cold arse. And most hammockers would have a sleeping bag or a quilt underneath the hammock, so it's not getting compressed. Obviously, that would be more kit to carry. I've got a sleeping pad, so I use my sleeping pad and I sort of half blow it up, and then that gives me a bit of protection. But it is colder.
Did you find it easy to find places to string up a hammock? I tried the hammock for a while, but then I found there was places without the proper width of trees, and I didn't end up using it.
I've used it twice in Australia, and that was no problem. In Southeast Asia, I would camp in temples, with the permission of the monks and so on, and wrap it round a pillar, wrap it round another pillar, not the idol, and sleep in. That'll be a bit much.
Why did somebody tip over Buddha?
What's going on here? And community halls and stuff like that, and restaurants that people said, "Oh, we're shut for the night. Camp here." So hang up the hammock inside the restaurant. So it was good, and they are comfortable. Just got to watch out for the cold bum.
I'm not going to ask you any favorite questions, because asking those things are impossible. Like, what's your favorite country? What's your favorite person you've met? What's your favorite? I'm going to ask you just to tell me a story of like a really nice story of somebody that you've met on the road that was memorable. You got one?
Probably. Me and my partner at the time, we were trying to get from Greece to Turkey, and it was we were in Crete, and at the time there was no direct ferry from Crete to Turkey, so we had to go all the way back on a ferry. I think it was like something like 15 hours, all the way back to Athens, get another ferry to Kos, and then from Kos to Bodrum. And at the time, it was January, the weather wasn't great, and we were like really starting to worry about where we were going to sleep as soon as we got into Turkey. I think, what it's like when you arrived in a new country, you're not sure where you can camp, you're not sure what's going on. And we met a really lovely Turkish lady on the ferry, and we got talking to her because she saw the bikes, and she said, "Oh, I know a friend that cycles, and she lives in Bodrum. I'll give her a shout." And it turned out that she had a spare room, and she took us in and looked after us, for 4 or 5 days. Took us around, showed us around, went out for meals with us, showed us typical Turkish cuisine. It was just a random somebody that we never met before, we never had any contact with. A friend phones her and says, "I've got 2 crazy people here. Do you want to let them come into your house?" Sure. It was generous. Do you still maintain contact with her? Yes, in fact, recently when I was on Bali, she was on holiday with 3 of her friends in Bali, and so I made time to go over. I rented a moped because I didn't want to cycle. And went over to see her. We spent the day together. We had a really nice time. It was great to see her again.
Awesome. Do you maintain, like, 'cause there's a plethora of people I've met on the road, and very few of them, unfortunately, do I still maintain contact. You end up like colliding, they share some amazing thing, and then you kind of drift off. And there's a guy I did kendo with in Japan. I would love to know that my Mr. Kendo guy, but I just don't know how the hell I'd find him. You know,
I mean, obviously, social media helps a lot. I get in touch with people through Facebook and through Instagram and everything. So I still get people asking me how I am, or I even ask them, you know, see how they are. People in India, people in Nepal, all over the world, really, where I've been. So that's really, really good. I must admit, there is one guy I would love to be able to contact, like you. But I'll tell you the story. We were in Turkey, going along the Black Sea coast, looking for somewhere to camp. It was all quite, agricultural. We saw an orchard, and so we thought, right, okay, it's someone's orchard, but there's nowhere else. We'll camp for the night. And around about 10 o'clock at night, so I think maybe 9 o'clock at night, it was dark. We're in the tent, and we can hear voices. And so I get out of the tent. I'm in my underpants. Hello, how are you? And there's two men there. And it's the village elder and another man. And so they didn't have any English. I didn't have any Turkish. So a bit of miming. Hello, I'm cycling. Now I'm sleeping. Tomorrow I'll go. It's okay. And they were like, yeah, no problems. Okay. Don't touch the trees. Don't touch the trees. No problems. Go back into the tent. Don't go back into the tent. And about an hour later, I hear another voice, light sleeper. So I get out again. And this time, through miming and all that sort of stuff, we work out that it's the owner of the orchard. Is a little old wizened guy. And we're doing the same thing again. Sleep, cycle, tomorrow we go. And he goes, okay. And then he pulls a gun out of his pocket and goes, do you need this? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. But just for that split second, when he pulls the gun out, you're like, what's going on here?
Shit's getting real.
Yeah. He's like, do you need this? And I'm like, no, I think I'll be okay.
No, I don't. Go away. But it was honest, and he was trying to help you. That's so funny.
That's it. Yeah.
What kind of gun was it? Was it like a 6-shooter, or was it like a?
It was just an automatic pistol.
Okay. Holy shit. Have you had anybody else pull anything like a knife or a gun on you or rob you at all?
No, I've been really, really lucky with that. We had one incident in a certain country, I won't name it, whereby there was some youths loading some rocks into a truck down in a riverbed by the side of the road, and one of them threw a rock about this big, and it came between the concrete revetment on the side of the road and flew and hit me in the side of the face. And I started screaming and all that sort of stuff. And what the heck's going on? Fortunately, we just passed through a police checkpoint about 200-300 meters down the hill. Went back down there. They got a local vet to come out and patch me up. Yeah, a vet. And they patched me up. They went and spoke to these guys. They lined them up against the wall, and then we're thinking, oh my God, what's gonna go on here, you know?
Holy
and they said
shit.
they said to me, what do you want to do? And I was like, don't know.
Throw a rock at them. Throw a rock at them.
And you know, the guy owned up and said he did it, but he said like, I was throwing it at a cow. And we looked up the hill, and there were no cows up the hill. And in the end, you know, it was getting dark, and in the end we were like, you know, we've got to get and find ourselves somewhere to camp and all that sort of stuff. So we said, no, it's fine, just let him go. But then the police chief had turned up from the village, and then because obviously we were tourists and it was, you know, a big issue. Then the local police chief came through, the commissioner from the local city came down, and in the end I had to write a statement to say that I wouldn't follow it up or tell anybody about it in the next region, because they didn't want to get in trouble for not looking after me. But it was all well in the end. You know, I think it was about a week or so before the injuries healed up and everything like that. So it was okay.
Now, you don't want to tell me the country, but blink twice if it was Cambodia.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Cambodia.
Okay.
No.
I've only had one violent act, or not violent, never got to that, but I was almost robbed in Phnom Penh, and I'm like, holy shit, that scared me. That scared me. But I mean, Cambodia.
Remember that?
You never know. It could be anywhere. That's what I'm not trying to castigate Cambodia.
Yeah.
It's just that was my one violent moment. But okay, so I see some things here. I see some news articles. Tell me, do you get a lot of media on the road? Do you get people coming up to you and talking to you?
Obviously, on a trike, you are something different, and so especially in India, I think we had some TV crews come and grab us on the road, and some print journalists come and grab us. Just recently in Australia, this article here, I've just had some journalists and a photographer come up to take my story. So yeah, I think with being on a trike or being on any sort of bike that's not in the norm, you are going to attract some media attention.
Do you like to share your story? Are you a bit reserved?
No. As quite a few people will say, I'm quite outgoing and outspoken, and I'm more than happy to share my story. So much so sometimes they're all like, "Oh God, he's not going on again. Stop telling me about it."
I think it's overall a good thing.
Yeah.
How many times have you told the story of? I mean, how many times have you told the story? So many times.
Exactly. Yeah. Anytime you meet somebody, it's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Where have you come from?" "I've come from England," and they're like, No, you haven't. Yes, I have. Do you want me to tell you about it?
Yeah. Let me weave you a tale, sir.
Sit down, buy me a coffee,
right.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Now you talked about Nepal. I'm curious. Nepal's got a really, really amazingly steep road that goes from India into Kathmandu. Did you go up that or down that?
Down. So we flew into Kathmandu, and then from Kathmandu we traveled. If you know, obviously Nepal is a big, long country like that. So we traveled from Kathmandu in the middle to the very far west, all the way along. But we dropped down to Pokhara and then to Lumbini, the place where Buddha's birthplace, and then carried on through Nepal. And in the lowlands it's nice and flat, but at the start there's a huge hill that drops down towards Pokhara, and I remember the day we cycled it was really fortunate because they were resurfacing it, and a lot of the traffic had been diverted or sent off or stopped, so we didn't have to deal with the traffic, because in Nepal the traffic especially on that road, with the twists and the turns and the sudden drops down to the river, it can be quite hellish. But on that day, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
What country has the worst roads in your travels?
Oh, Java. I would say Java. So if you're on the coast in Java in Indonesia, it's there's a lot of traffic. It's a huge population. But then as soon as you come off the coast road, you start climbing, and you climb and climb and climb. And they don't believe in going up and up and up and up. They just go straight up. I think the day I went up to Dieng volcano complex to have a look at that, and I cycled 2,700 meters of height gain in about 40 kilometers. It was just insane. Wow. Absolutely insane. You must do it, Matt. Really, when you get there, do it so you can feel the pain.
That's my plan. It's on the list. Actually, Java is, I'm going to go from Singapore into Jakarta. And so that's my plan, is to cycle there. I wonder, did you see Krakatoa? You can actually see Krakatoa from the coast in West Java.
No, I don't remember seeing it. In fact, good point. I didn't see it. No. Here's another tip for you though. Make sure you go in the economy class on the ferry. 28 hours with 300 other people and one small toilet. It's brilliant.
Ooh, that is a tip I am not going to take.
Or but just to save yourself $10, because for $10 more you could have a room a room of 8 people. So I was a bit. It was nice, and everyone was really friendly, and I sat down with a load of people and had meals with them, but it was quite smelly and chaotic at times.
You never had anything stolen from you? I would imagine that many people cooped up sleeping. No?
No. I have heard of cyclists that have had bits taken off their bikes occasionally, but I've been really, really fortunate. Never had that problem. 99.999% of people are really, really friendly. You know, you might meet one guy once in a blue moon.
How about this? What's your steepest grade of road and the biggest hill?
Again, I would think that would be the one going up to Dieng volcano complex.
Okay.
It did, you know,
how deep?
yeah, 30%, 25 to 30%, something like that. I know.
Holy crap.
I remember you seeing your video in Thailand on one of the islands and seeing the hill, and you can't see it on a video.
Koh-Chang.
Yeah, it's really hard to show it on a video. But I was in bottom gear for just hours and hours going up that hill. Yeah, trying to get kids to push me.
Wow, you didn't have to get off? Have you ever had to get off and push other than the sand?
No, I've got really low gearing, and I've never had to get off and push where there's enough traction. So on a normal tarmac road, normal concrete road, I'm pretty much okay. The only times I ever have to get off and push is when it's gone into sand or gravel or pea gravel or something like that, and you just lose traction in the back wheel.
What's the highest road you've ever been? What's the highest altitude you've ridden in Nepal?
That would be in Tajikistan, in the Pamir Highway. For those that don't know, the Pamir Highway is the old Silk Road, and I think it's 4,560 meters high at its highest point when you go through one of the passes. But you are literally for about 1,500 kilometers high up in the mountains. But it's beautiful, it's stunning. A lot of cyclists go there. And you know, you swimming in the rivers, drinking from the rivers. It's amazing, but it's quite cold in the evenings. A little bit of shortness of breath occasionally. That's probably because I'm just pedaling like mad. It's really, really beautiful, really beautiful.
Speaking of pedaling like mad, what's the longest distance you ever covered in one day?
Now here's a story. I remember I remember hearing once about this mad triker that did 200 kilometers in Thailand. I think he did it. It could have been you, Matt. Could have been you.
Maybe.
So and I'd only ever done about 135 kilometers. And I was like, wow, this guy must be an athlete, a super athlete, because there's no way I'm ever going to do 200 kilometers. And then lo and behold, one day, I think it was my last day in Java, I woke up early to miss the early morning heat or the midday heat. Set out about 3 a.m, and I got to the ferry. Yeah, I got to the ferry that goes over to Bali, and that was 185 kilometers. And I'd said to myself I was going to stop, but then I was like, wow, I'm so close to 200. So I ended up getting on a ferry and doing another 15 kilometers. And I was like, yay, I've done 200 kilometers. I'm probably never going to do it ever again, but I've done 200 kilometers. And then I looked on my map for somewhere to sleep, and I ended up having to do another 18 kilometers to try and to get to a hotel. So 218 kilometers. Yeah.
All right, 218 kilometers is 135 miles. So you rode 135 miles. Yeah. Wow. You earned that day's rest.
I did, yeah. It was very good.
Cool. Is that on video? How is your channel? You have how many videos do you put up?
I don't put up as many as you. I try and put up one when something interesting happens. There is a video of that. I think I put it on Facebook and YouTube, showing that 200 kilometer moment. So that was quite good. Yeah.
I'm just pulling up your social media as we talk. Just please follow his journey, man. Like, because you're not as prolific out there in social media as I am, but a lot of the most amazing stories. It's funny because you meet travelers that have way more interesting stories than me, and nobody will ever hear about them.
No,
nobody will ever hear that. I mean, they're content in their own travel journey that they don't need to share it. But I think it's sort of a shame because it is inspirational.
Yeah, we are a niche, but it's nice. I have people give me comments and all that sort of stuff, and it's always nice to know that people are living vicariously through my travels and other people's travels, even if they can't. So it's really, really good. Oh, look at that! That's a lovely picture of me.
That is you look pretty buff in that. You're tanned and relaxed.
Yeah.
And, oh man,
I was sucking my stomach in there.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
What do we got here? What are we looking at? You've got Arkle. Are those Arkle bags?
No, they're all Ortlieb.
Ortlieb. I'm sorry, Ortlieb.
Yeah.
Because I have the same. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've got the seat bag that's at my side. That would normally be the handlebar bag. And then I've got the rear panniers and a rack pack on top. So I've got 3 big bags and 1 small one.
And your tires, are the Schwab Marathon Plus? What are you riding on?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I think I'm on my 3rd set. And if I was to show you my bike now, you can see the blue showing through from underneath. I've got another set.
The Kevlar.
Yeah. I've got another set waiting to go on, but I'm going to wait until they totally go. That's the one thing about Australia. The roads in Australia are absolutely, they're really rough. They use a large pea gravel or whatever it is they use, a bit of gravel. So it wears the tires quite quickly.
You wear the rear tire way more than the front, right? I mean, that's where all the weight is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That was a nice picture that you showed with the umbrella.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's your canopy. That's your top.
Riding along with umbrella in one hand and steering with the other hand, keeping the sun off me, all the rain. Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, there's a big debate on the trike community, if you guys don't know, on whether you should put a canopy over you or not. I would much rather have a nice brimmed hat and then just take the rain as it comes.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you find yourself in many a deluge?
I'm really lucky actually through Europe, where we don't have the best of weather. I think we had maybe 5 days of rain. And then I didn't really get rained upon until Japan, I think, next. After that, everywhere else was really, really good. In fact, 1 day in India. But the good thing about India is it's really warm. And the rain was just like being in a shower. So that was really nice. I tend not to try and travel in the heavy downpours. I'll try and find shelter or put the umbrella up and just sit there huddled up underneath it, waiting for it to stop. Yeah. Cars splashing by. But yeah.
Do you have a lot of late nights you ride, or most of the time you're finishing around what time?
I try not to ride at night. Obviously, it's a bit more dangerous. I do have lights on the bike. Yeah. But normally, it depends on the terrain and on the place. Is there somewhere to stop? 3, 4 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll be stopping, looking for somewhere to camp, give me time to cook my meal, and then get down once it's dark in the tent and read a book for a bit and then sleep. Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. Do you find it? I always found it a beautiful thing, because I'm a very sort of goal-oriented guy, that every day you have a goal and every day you reach the goal. And even though it's rinse and repeat, it's really fulfilling to travel and complete a goal every day.
Yeah. And that's why we do it. We love to travel. We love to see, and every day you see different people or experience different things. Yeah, it's a beautiful way to travel.
Let's go a little technical on more to satisfy the trike people and me. What are you riding? What's the style and form of your trike?
Okay, I'm going to see if I can move, and I can show you the trike.
Okay.
So I'm riding an AZUB Recumbent Trike freewheeler. It's a 20-inch model. You have
20-inch tires front.
Yeah, you'll have to excuse all the other bikes that are around here. I'm at a house and they've had a cycle meet, so I've been joining in. Right, so there's my trike. Yeah, I've got a roll-off speed hub on the back, which gives me 14 gears, and then I've got two chain rings at the front, so about 28 gears. But obviously, some of those are overlapping. And in the front wheel, I have the Son Dynamo, which powers, allows me to
Headlight.
charge, headlight, and allows me to charge some USB equipment and everything like that. There you go. I think you can see it. Yeah.
The steering, it's you've got it's not one of those this type. It's like one of the automotive style.
Yeah, so it's
steering,
it's under seat steering. Really responsive, no problems at all. And the good thing is each brake is independent. So you got a left brake, right brake. So even going downhill, if you pull the brake that you're going around a corner, it allows you to drag you around that corner slightly as well. So you can definitely turn into it. Yeah.
I like to videotape, so I put both of my brakes on one side just because I want to be able to hold the camera with the other. Oh
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I always find that when I come to a big hill, I can't really video it because I need both hands on the brakes. So
yeah,
I put the camera in my mouth.
Right
That's the thing about trikes. You go around corners and you've really got to lean. You make sure you don't get thrown out by the centrifugal force.
For sure. What is your biggest repair or fault? Like what has happened that like really had a break?
Oh,
biggest one.
The brakes, really, I suppose. I was going down a hill on the Munda Biddi trail. Sorry, let me just get back into the light. And there was this huge hill, and my brake pads were quite worn anyway. And I was going down the hill, had the brakes on, and one of the brake pads welded to the rotor. And obviously, all of a sudden, the wheel stops turning and starts screeching down the road. And I'm like, what's going on? So I managed to stop in the end, and I couldn't get the wheel to move at all, and I didn't know what had happened. Ended up taking the wheel apart, taking the caliper apart, and the actual brake pad was welded to the rotor. So I've had to get brand new rotors to replace the ones, but they were quite thin. After 35,000 kilometers, the brake rotors were very thin anyway. So it was probably time I needed to change them.
You had a spare one on you to replace?
No. I had spare pads, but obviously you can't carry everything. So I managed to get in the next town. There was a bike shop, and it's standard equipment for a normal bicycle as well as a trike, and managed to get 2 new rotors.
What'd you do in the meantime? Did you just pull the plate off and then just ride without a
so just had
on one side?
Had one brake really, and just used that, and very gingerly went down hills.
Very cool. Hey, I want to, we're going to press on here because I hope everybody's enjoying this, because I am enjoying the hell out of this conversation. This is awesome. Talking to people I really enjoy talking to travelers and stuff. So let's see. We saw the trike. Let me ask you this: when you started traveling, and what was your original inspiration to do this? What was the spark? Yeah.
I'd always been a big cyclist, and I used to do a bit of mountain bike racing, nothing top level sort of thing, but just to enjoy the racing. And I started reading blogs on Crazy Guy on a Bike. It's a website for cyclists to put their forums up and to put their stories up. And I started reading these blogs about these amazing people traveling through different countries, and the writing was amazing. And it just gave me that idea that when I finished working, that's what I wanted to do. So really, other cyclists is what's been inspiring for me.
I'm curious if anybody's going to look at this and have that same reaction that you did when you were reading the Crazy Guy on a Bike articles.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It would be. The host that was looking after me, the lady, she's actually now, as we speak, riding the Munda Biddi trail, because she had a bike, but she'd never done any touring. And she said, I've always wanted to do the Munda Biddi, but I've never thought I could do it. And I've seen your videos, and I went out for that one-day ride with you, and she's now doing it with a group of 3 friends, I think. So that's brilliant. There's one more person out there that's doing a tour.
One at a time, man. One at a time. You know, that is fantastic. What is the difference between the Darren that started this journey and the Darren of today? How have you changed?
Apart from older and grayer, I really think that an appreciation for how generous people can be. You know, before I think in Western Europe we have this go to work, come home, go to work, come home, go on holiday, work some more to go on holiday again. Once you reach Eastern Europe and the Middle East and further east, people have a different way of living, and the generosity and their nature is just so friendly, so generous. So for me, the fact that, you know, in my previous job I wouldn't have seen any of this, for me to see this is just amazing. You know, it's given me a better outlook on the human race.
What were you doing previously? What was your work?
I was in the military. I was in the British Army for 29 years. So I retired and then started traveling. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long haul. I mean, you did you did your part.
Yeah, it was a good life. It was a good life.
This before we get to the questions, one more from me, and then we'll get to the audience questions. I asked you this before, but I'm going to say it. You say it. How can people support you? Can the community here watching help you in any way, or is there anything that we can do for you?
Yeah, you know, I know that some people out there, they enjoy, you know, or they can't. Okay. So I obviously have my military pension, so I fund myself. I don't really need the assistance of anybody else. I enjoy the fact that right now I'm in a warm showers host house. So for me, yeah, I'm okay. You know, my biggest expenses are flights, and I know I've got one coming up to go to the Americas at some stage, probably next year now. But yeah, I just save up and save up and save up, and then I manage. So you know, it's nice that other people can offer assistance to cyclists that can't manage or that want to, you know, they live through their travels. But for me, I'm okay. But thank you. Just watch my videos and enjoy.
Watch his videos, make comments. If you do come from the JaYoe Nation, why don't you tell them that this is where you came from and came from the JaYoe Travel Show, and that would be appreciative of me.
Yeah,
so,
that'd be great.
But yeah, that would be great. I'm going to go into the comment section here, and I have, I guess we have about 100 people watching on YouTube, but it's also playing on Facebook. So we're live broadcasting to both platforms. And let me see here. Some of these might go a long time. So please rotate 90 degrees next time, Matt. The window reflection is very distracting. What, that window distraction? I want you to see the city, but whatever. Okay, we're not going to answer criticisms. Okay, all right. Meeting another triker. Clyde is okay. Oh, Clyde is okay. Bear from BJ and the Bear is my favorite. Trucking around was a better travel show too. So that's cool. Let's see here. Darren's video is great. Matt, I'm lagging. Hopefully my video is. These are actually about an hour ago, so I'm just catching up.
Yeah.
Sound is poor. Okay, sorry. Getting a lot. Are you guys going to meet and ride together someday? From Cora N.
Yeah, we've tried a couple of times, and it would be great, absolutely fantastic. If I could keep up with Matt, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, that's somewhere.
What's your average?
Somewhere. Over the day, I think I'm at the moment around about 18 kilometers an hour as an average. On the flats and normal without any wind and everything like that, you know, I can push it up to 20 to 24 kilometers an hour, but that's just pootling along. Okay. You know, I think the fastest was on a downhill stretch. I did 77 kilometers an hour, but once, and that was a bit scary.
Yeah, but that's fun, eh? Riding on a trike when it's really fast, it's a different feeling, you know.
Like on a go-kart.
How heavy is your truck fully loaded?
So the trike on its own weighs 27 kilos. and I'm carrying, without food and water, about 20 kilos of equipment. Obviously, water is the main thing, especially as I come to cross the Nullarbor Desert. Water, a litre of water is a kilo. So I think if I have to carry maybe 15 litres of water, that's going to add some considerable weight. But that's the necessity.
50 kilos is about 110 pounds. So just to let everybody know that.
Yeah.
So, how did Darren like the Munda Biddi Trail? That's pretty nice. I actually answered that question without having to look at the travel. How much money do you need to travel with your, he says bike, but I'm sure he's meaning trike. What's your daily budget?
My daily budget is around about $15 a day in Australia at the moment. In Southeast Asia, you can get away with a lot cheaper. In Europe, it's more expensive, but that's the way it goes. So it sort of balances out. I have to put up money aside from my pension to wait for those big expenses like visas, air flights and stuff like that. But yeah, about $15 to $20 a day sort of thing, just about.
That's not bad. That's pretty. It's a lot cheaper than. Is it cheaper than you thought when you started? Or,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess you started in Europe, so.
Yeah, I did worry at the start that I wouldn't be able to afford to travel. But you make cutbacks and you make choices, and you manage at the end of the day. Yeah.
Mark from bikepacking.com says that he told you that Munda Biddi Trail was not going to be very easy.
He did, yeah. I actually met Mark he lives in Vietnam. He moved over there, and I stayed the night and had a few beers with him. It was very good.
He was also just a few.
Yeah, a lot with Mark. yeah. He did say it was a bad trail.
I'd like to have Mark on the show, and we're talking about that as well. So that would be funny. He's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wonder if he met any snakes in Australia. What kind of wildlife have you had any interactions with?
Obviously you get the kangaroos. They're quite good to see. You get the emus. They're good. I've only seen one snake, and that was on the farm that I was staying at for the 8 weeks. That was a python. Quite a lot of spiders, golden orb, and all sorts of weird and wonderful spiders. Quokkas. If anyone knows what a quokka is, let me know. It's a
crocodile.
Quokka.
Oh,
it's a small rodent or something like that. But you've got. I've seen possums. I haven't seen a duck-billed platypus yet.
Did you see foxes?
No, not in Australia. I think they're not allowed in Australia.
Oh yeah. Have you ever had to cycle in snow?
No. I think we had it maybe in Japan, up the north of Japan. We had a little bit of snow, but it wasn't actually snowing when we were cycling.
Oh wow! I just figured out how to show these comments. So okay,
there we go.
Sorry everybody.
Sorry
everybody that I haven't showed your comment. Yeah. And then we got bikepacking. He says I got his tent.
Remember I said I got rid of my tent in Southeast Asia. I sold it to Mark, and he's now hopefully using it and enjoying it.
Oh, very cool. How about this one? Have you ever had days that you wanted to give up and you were depressed and frustrated and broken? And how did you get out of that?
To be honest, no. I don't think I've ever had any real bad days. I have a positive outlook on life, and that goes through to my cycling. And at the end of the day, I go to sleep and I wake up, it's a new day, your new challenges and all that sort of stuff. So I've never really had a day where it's made me want to give up. Good.
That's very JaYoe answer. But everybody does go through, like I had a down moment in Siem Reap when I was at the Angkor Wat, and I just I didn't want to quit, but I was just not having a good moment. And a lot of times, people have ups and downs, and I'd much rather have to get over a down on the road than get over a down, stuck in a house and, like the humdrum of life. Yeah. So it's kind of nice. Yeah. Cora, have a great night, guys. Okay, Cora. Stay safe. Ed says, it's amazing to meet good people on the road. Man, we meet so many amazing people.
Yeah.
It is the best. We got a comment here from Facebook. It says, have you ever been in a situation where you were worried about your safety, or locations where locals weren't so welcomed?
Hello, Michelle. I actually met Michelle on a visa. I met Michelle just very quickly. I met Michelle on a visa run in Vietnam. She lives in Vietnam. So, question: worried about your safety? Apart from that one time where I had the rock, thrown at me, no. As I say, 99.9% of people are really friendly. And I remember I had these misconceived ideas that Albania was going to be a bit dodgy, purely because you read stories about the Albanian mafia and TV and films, the Albanian mafia. And I got there. And people were people were really, really generous. I went and spoke to somebody and they said, yeah, you can camp in the town square on the grass and, no one's going to bother you. And it was just fantastic. a beautiful place to cycle through.
How about this one? I never took that kind of ferry, but it must be interesting. I'm wondering what picture, do you have a picture of you on a ferry that I might have had here?
I don't know. No, that was in
one?
Austria. That's Austria.
That was
I've had some weird and wonderful ferry trips. I remember we crossed a estuary in northern Spain, and we got on this little ferry. We got on a quay and got the bikes on, and then we're going to the other side of the estuary, and we're thinking, "Where's the quay?" And the next minute, he's ramming the boat up onto the sand, onto the beach, drops down the gangplank, which is about a foot wide, and said, "There you go, off you go." And you're like, "Holy smoke! How am I going to get my bike down?" It's like that. Yeah. So that was quite technical way of getting off the boat.
That's funny. I've had some crazy boat situations, and from Thailand to Langkawi in Malaysia, we had a lot of ferries there, and one of them just pulled up on the beach and was like, "Get your trike off." I'm like,
"That's it."
Okay, but I thought we had a dock at least. Or something.
Yeah, and they're like, "Come on, we've got to go, get going."
Yeah. I've been to India 3 times, and traffic, it's intense. How do you handle it?
Yeah, I've got to say the north of India particularly was really, really intense. Cycling into Delhi, cycling into Mumbai. But like I say, on a trike, people sort of, they see you as something different, and they take their time going around you. But you can have 50 to 60 mopeds and trikes and stuff like that, the rickshaws riding around you. You just have to deal with it. You go steady, you take your time, and try not to get too angry. I do remember at one point I did get a little bit frustrated, but you learn from it and you go on.
Did you hear that loud noise? I don't know where the hell that came from. Did you hear that? My ears just blew out because I heard something. No, that's okay. Okay. We got bike packing here. He says, question for both of you. You would say the Trek bike is more repairs or more maintenance than a traditional touring bike?
I think he means trike bike.
No, I think he's trying to ask is trike. Yeah, is trike more than a normal upright bike?
Yeah. No, I think it's the same. Most of the basic components, the wheels, the brakes, the tires, spokes, they're all the same. It's only really the frame that holds all those bits together that is different. And the frame's normally the most hardest part about it. So I would say it's on a par.
I think he's referring to a lot of the problems I have, and I think I think it's because I have a really expensive schlump drive in the front, and my gearing is higher end. You can get that gearing with a bike as well. So I guess it all depends on what the components are, and how fragile they are.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Do you know this guy? I met this guy in a hostel in Bangkok.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't in Bangkok. I was about I was in
So me,
Mekong.
it must be me.
Oh, so it must be you, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, David. Okay, we got Mark here. How do you stay motivated on days you find it hard to get going? Okay, so this isn't like a depression thing. This is just like a.
Yeah.
Do you ever find it hard to hit the road in the morning when you're all nuzzled up in bed?
Maybe after a bottle of wine the night before, but no.
Okay.
Every day, like I say, every day is a different day, and you're going out there to experience it, to meet new people, to see new things. For me, I don't have any difficulty with the motivation.
Okay, Mark, mind you, is on Facebook, same name, Mark A, and he is a fantastic fellow. He's in Australia, so if you haven't networked with him, Darren, I think that you should. And Mark, why don't you reach out to Darren and say hello if you haven't already? Yeah, Mark is a top-notch guy. As a matter of fact, my brake lever, he sent me from Australia. So he sent me a really nice dual operating brake lever with nice padding and everything. Fantastic.
Lovely.
Mark, you're a rock star. JK. If I want to travel on bike in one country, which place should it be? Where would be the best starter country?
Oh, well, I have 3 countries that I think are in my top. But for someone that's never done it before, maybe Japan. It's a great place. You can camp anywhere. It's beautiful. The temples, the people are so friendly. So maybe as a starter country, and just to get out there and have an easy time, Japan.
I would say Thailand. The roads there are just so smooth. There's a lot of facilities. Things are cheap. Japan was very safe, but I don't know, almost too safe. Like I needed a little challenge, so I thought,
a little bit sterilized. A bit sterile.
A little
beautiful.
Ed asked, "Do you ride in the rain? And how many rest days do you have in between on average? Like 1 month? How many rest days on a non-virus time?"
Yeah, on a 9. I mean, it all depends on where you're cycling. Is there something to stop and see? You normally maybe 1 rest day, but I don't count them as rest days. I'll count them as a sightseeing day in Chiang Mai, or a day where I might meet somebody and stay with them for the night. In Hanoi, I had a friend that lives in Hanoi, so I stayed there. But maybe once every 10 days, 6 to 10 days, I might stop. But again, it all depends. It depends where you're cycling.
All right. I ride in the rain. I kind of like riding in the rain sometimes. It gives you a little wash down. Gives you Arthur asks, have you guys used any satellite fast tracker or SMS sender in reach?
No. I have a map that I just every day I plot where I am. It's a very, very basic travel map. It's on my blog. But that's about it, really.
Have you adopted Relive as a form? Have you done Relive, where you enter your Garmin data into it and it shows it really nice?
I've used Relive a couple of times when it's been, particularly challenging. I think in northern Vietnam and stuff like that. But it means having your phone on all day long, tracking you, and it does take the battery down, even though I've got a solar charger and a dynamo. But sometimes I'll use it when I know that the ride's going to be nice and different.
Okay. I'll keep continuing, but drop a like if you're watching right now and you haven't hit the like or whatever. Please do so, because that helps promote the show, and of course only if you like it.
I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Hold on. I've got a visitor in the garden. I'll see if I can get him. Can anyone see?
Okay.
Can anyone see the ibis on the? Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Is he on sideways on that pole?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can see how close I get, and he'll fly off in a minute. Okay. Go on. Away you go.
Oh, I think I see him. Oh yeah, beautiful.
He's going to fly. There he goes.
And everything. There he goes.
There he goes. Sorry, just a visitor came to say hello.
Have you had any physical problems on the trip, like Pokemon's or anything?
Apart from occasionally, especially on some of the tougher roads, I get a little pain in my knees. But then I just sort of slow down, take it easy, and maybe have a rest day, and then normally it's gone away, sort of thing. So yeah, but no other than that. Well, apart from the obvious intestinal problems you might catch occasionally.
Hey,
I've had 2 or 3 bouts of that.
The Hershey squirts. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Does Darren have a home base? Do you have any place that you find you can turn back? Do you not have a home? Your home is your trike. Is that the way you go?
Pretty much, yeah. My brother still lives in the UK, from where I originally grew up. But yeah, I live on my trike. I live in my tent, and I live with people that offer me their houses, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, Brian and Janine say good day from Cali.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Jeannie. They took me in when I was on the Munda Biddi. They are both trike riders as well. I had a really fantastic time with them. They showed me around. Yeah, that was a really, really nice day.
What about here? Does Darren have any drone footage? Matt really takes some nice stuff.
Yeah, I've been toying with adding a drone to my cargo for a while, and finally I've just gone and bought a new drone, and I've been practicing with it. So there are a couple of videos on my YouTube channel, but like I say, I'm just practicing at the moment and trying to get it. I'm trying to get the balance between cycling, stopping, getting the drone out, doing a nice video and stuff like that. I know obviously Matt's videos are absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so maybe I'll get there as when I can get there as good. But yeah,
it's a fun hobby. How do you plan your trip? Do you have how far out in advance did you map out all of Australia before you got there, or how early?
Yeah, so I kind of look where's the next country, and I I'm already plotting places in America that I want to go and see. Every time I see something online or someone says this is a nice place to go, so I plot it on a map, and then before I get to that country, I'll look at what route I'm going to possibly take to pick all these places up, and sometimes it's all about which country you're going to go to next to travel through that country as well. So maybe a country before is when I start planning properly.
That's a good idea, because you never know politically or socially or a virus is everything can change. Everything can change.
That's it. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where you're worried about your safety? I think we talked about that.
We've had that one.
Yeah, we hit that. Military survival training. Has that helped? Do you use those skills?
I can tell which direction it is from the sun. Yeah, living in a tent and stuff like that. Yeah. The military for me was a massive, beautiful adventure. And then, I went from day end of a military career to day one of traveling and adventure, and it was just no real change apart from the mode of operation and the uniform.
Here was a clarification. That ferry, how was that ferry? The job ferry we were talking about.
28 hours with 300 other people. It was different, but it was a really good experience.
Let's see here. Is Matt really still, or is he dying? I am actually alive.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was. 9:17. That was 10 minutes ago. Yeah. Am I moving now? Jeez Louise. Doing a live stream when you're in China is really, really counterproductive sometimes. I'm actually going to play this on YouTube and take a look and see if we're actually okay. Yeah. All right, I'm moving. I'm seeing myself move. So the last 2 hours of conversation, nobody heard a thing. So funny. All right. Reportify Media and Travel, a friend of mine, Alex, he's asking, who is leading the world in cycling innovation? Are you really happy with your AZUB? Is there another mode of transportation that you think is doing better?
Yeah, I'm really, really happy with the trike. I used to mountain bike a lot. And I know nowadays, you've got the e-bikes, the electric bikes. And I know people have got electric trikes as well. So I think obviously the innovation in cycling is coming from the ability to travel. For those that can't cycle, however far they need to cycle without the aid of, a motor or something like that. And I think it's brilliant that they can now do that. Really, I suppose it's the electric bike companies that are going to be coming to the forefront at the moment.
Let's see here. Have you ever been chased by dogs? Are you worried about
lots
that?
and lots and lots of times. I remember in Turkey being chased, but you go by a farm and you can see that there's a dog on the chain, and he's barking at you and barking and barking, and you're going, ha ha, you're on a chain. And then another dog comes running around and he's not on a chain, and he's cycling, and you're like, and the goosebumps going up, and you're low to the ground, and you just, I think the best advice you can give to any cyclist is just to stop. Stop that chase instinct to the dog. Stop. Get you and your bike, or get your bike in between you and the dog, and they normally then just sort of they go, oh, okay, just another human being. I'll stop chasing.
Yeah. Do you find that being low on the trike is an attraction to the dogs, as opposed to we're on their eye level? They don't like it.
No, and horses as well. Horses really don't like us. I've had
really?
horse riders. I've had horse riders been thrown off a horse when I was in England riding on a recumbent. Yeah. So now if I see a horse, I stop, I stand up, make sure that it can see that I'm a human, and then the rider can come by, and it's not too much of a problem.
My trike is very complex. Yes. Does your trike have full suspension? Yeah. Right? You have full suspension.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea, or have you ridden non-suspended bikes?
I've ridden on a non-suspended trike, but definitely you can. It really eases the road. I can cycle for 7-8 hours a day and get up off the seat, and I'll be freshish as a daisy. Having the suspension does help.
What is your end point? Do you have any plan? Like, where do you see this thing ending up, wrapping up?
Yeah, originally I said 5 years would be sort of be able to get around the world, no problems. I'm in my 5th year now, and I'm still only halfway around. I still have New Zealand. I have the Americas, North America, Central America, South America, and maybe Africa. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. But definitely, I think for the next 3 or 4 years, I've got plans for cycling. After that, I don't know. Get a van. Go around in a van.
Van life.
Who knows?
Van life.
Yeah.
How long do you think you're going to be on the road tomorrow or in the next couple of days, right? So
tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be heading off, and I'll be heading towards the east of Australia. Obviously, it's 4,000 kilometers, so it's going to take me a while to get there. But yeah, tomorrow I'll be back on the road.
Yeah. JaYoe, I have to wait until countries allow me in. So but you're already in. So, and you have a huge country ahead of you. So you can kind of mill around.
Yeah.
How do you secure your trike when you're not with it? Do you bring it into hotel rooms or have it outside of the tent, and do you lock it up?
Yeah, when I'm during the daytime, I never lock it up. I have my seat bag, the little one that's got all my valuables in. I take that into the shops and leave my bike outside. If I'm sleeping in a tent, I just keep it close to the tent so I can hear it. And in hotels, normally I just say, is there a safe place to park it? Or they let me put it inside the foyer. And I think once I may have even taken it into a room. But the majority of the time, someone's sat there or looking after it or stuff in the hotels.
I find it's so weird that if somebody was to steal it, how the hell are they going to hide it? It's like impossible. It's so strange.
Yeah. You're probably the only one in the country, and the people are going to find it and see you. So I don't really worry about it.
I think this question is for me, the next one, and it's when are you climbing Mount Everest? Now, I have a little pile of cheese. I'm waiting for the mice to come. Once the mice come, then I can christen it Mount Everest, and we'll go from there. But Mount Everest, actually, if you guys don't know, I climbed Mount Everest almost to the top in 2016. I'm hoping, I actually had somebody say they're going to sponsor me to climb in a year. So maybe next year I will climb Mount Everest on the north side, which is cool. Vaccinations needed. Did Paul ask, have you had to have a lot of, you got to have them, right? To get into different places?
Yeah, yeah, like I think there's yellow fever and stuff like that. I've had a few, and I try and get them in a country that's a lot cheaper to get them. The one thing I haven't got is rabies. I don't, for me particularly, I think that even if you get bit by a dog, you still got to go and get injections. So I've gone down the line that I don't want to get the rabies injections. They're supposed to be really big needles. But yeah, I've got the normal Japanese encephalitis and tetanus and stuff like that. So yeah.
What's the longest day without staying in a hostel or hotel? What's the longest day you've had on the road?
Longest day.
I mean, the longest set of days, maybe a week.
Oh, longest, yeah. I remember when I did the Munda Biddi Trail, it took me 18 days to do the Munda Biddi Trail, and I didn't stay in any hotels or hostels along the way, sort of thing. But cool. Then, yeah, that's probably about the best. There's other places where I've cycled that it's been, just as long, sort of thing, like the Pamir Highway. There's only a few places, the Korog and places like that, where there are places to stop. The rest of the time you're camping. So yeah.
All right, we're going to take one more question, and then we're going to wrap this up. Have you had any near misses with cars or trucks? Where was that?
Most cars and trucks are really, really good. I think really it's buses and coaches. They're on a schedule. They want to get to A to B, and you're in the way. I've never been hit. I think I've had a few close calls where if I'd have reached out, I could have touched the car. But I've been very lucky.
Very, very cool. I'm going to go back to your webpage here. Now you have, if you want to follow Darren, he has a, let's see here. This is your YouTube page, and let's see how many. Hopefully we can see some. Well, you got 220 subscribers, 225 subscribers. Got a bunch of videos there. Take a look and subscribe if you can. And you also have a presence on Instagram. Do you find a lot of? What do you enjoy? You enjoy making photos or videos, or what's your motive?
Photos, mate. There's a quokka. Photos mainly. Where? Go back up. There's a sign, a yellow sign that says quokka. There it is.
Okay. Quokka.
Yeah, quokka. My main presence, I would say, is my Facebook page, then followed by the YouTube, and then down to Instagram. But I try and put topic up as often as I can on each of them. So hopefully people are seeing it and enjoying it. Okay,
very cool. So go ahead and check them out. I mean, I'm much more interested in sharing the journey than most, but everybody has a story. Everybody has a story to tell. And if somebody's putting anything out, you should get out there and check it out, because
that's it.
They're inspiring. You inspire me just like I inspire some people. And the more that we can inspire each other, the better we're going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might not be asking money for
sorry, you're just breaking up, Matt. I'm not getting that. Okay, got it. I'm singing and dancing. No, I'm still getting really broken up, and your video is frozen.
Okay.
No, maybe we call that. No, you're still frozen. Maybe we call that a day. Say thank you to everybody.
I can hear you now.
In. Oh, there we go. You've just come back.
Okay. All right. We'll make this
Oh, he's gone. Is he coming back?
If you
Thank you everybody for watching us, and thank you Matt for inviting me along to be his first guest. I wish you luck in the rest of your travels and the rest of your endeavors. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Did you hear that? No.
Modern technology. No idea. No idea.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Okay.
No.
All right.
I've lost you again.
All right.
Hello, you.
I just restarted myself.
Okay, there we go.
I just restarted. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I've got you back now.
Okay. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Darren, for joining me. And we'll catch you on the next one. If you can you hear me? Or am I talking?
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, no, I've got you.
Okay,
I've got you.
Okay.
I was letting you speak.
Okay. If you want to subscribe to any of my stuff, you know the word JaYoe. It means add fuel to life, and all of us travelers are adding fuel to our lives by traveling and by sharing our stories. Hopefully, we are adding a little fuel to your lives. Thank you for everybody that commented. Please subscribe to Darren's channel and share this video in its craziness. And I really, this is a great first episode. Maybe a couple of little problems, but overall good. Yeah. So thank you so much, Matt. Darren. And I'm going to end with my little sign-off video. Here we go.